good morning, and welcome. This is your boy, your men's life coach, Rolando. Thank you for being here with us again on XY Spark. We are here just to seek to generate a conversation again that promotes and seeks to create a safe space for men to talk about their mental health. Yes, guys, because as we know here in XY Spark, mental health is not a myth. Men are not immune. And one of those realities is that as men, we do not talk about our mental health enough. So we are being impacted negatively. We're not respected by the judicial system. We're not respected oftentimes by other men. We're not respected by women. We're not respected by colleagues. We are just treated oftentimes as, hey, you're a man, we just need you for muscle, we don't need you for brain. All right. And so we want to talk about men's mental health and understanding the value of making men's mental health a priority and keep the conversations going about men's mental health. Today is a Wednesday, and it's Willpower Wednesday. And today, our theme is the power of a thought. The power of a thought. Don't you just love thoughts? I love thoughts. It is out of thoughts that a lot of things are born. Thoughts are oftentimes what helps to create the imagination. And if I were to quote from Einstein, I believe he said that all meaningful and lasting change starts with the imagination and work its way out. All meaningful and lasting change starts with the imagination and work its way out. We want to continue to remind you, good morning, Jess, I see you. Morning, Zaniel, I see you. We want to remind all those who are in tune to the podcast right now that you can join the live conversation right here on our podcast at xyspark.podbean.com. We would like you to join in our conversation there. We also encourage all our viewers to like, subscribe, and share. We're also live on TikTok. So I want to send a shout out to all those who join us, those who are here every morning on our TikTok live. Shout out to you. We're happy that you have decided to start your day with XY Spark. We also want to send a shout out to those who are joining us live on YouTube. All our live YouTube listeners, subscribers, you can go on the YouTube app and join us there also. And you can type a comment in the comment box and let's have those conversations together. Hey, hi, I see you, Alondra. I see you, Louis. I can't pronounce the last name, so forgive me, guys. But I see you, those who just joined on TikTok. Shout out to you. So today's Wednesday is Willpower Wednesday. We are under the theme, the power of a thought. I laid the platform rather, by alluding to Einstein, who said this: all meaningful and lasting change starts with the imagination and work its way out. So we want to establish the reality that having a thought is not a bad thing, right? No, it can't be, because the day we stop thinking is the day we are dead, right? So we're not saying having a thought is a bad thing. But today we want to talk about how do we learn to better control those thoughts versus those thoughts controlling us. So we're talking about the power of a thought. What about you? You're listening to a podcast this morning. How many times have you had thoughts that has taken you on a roller coaster ride? How many times have you have thoughts that has sort of thrown a wrench into it? And this morning we want to talk about that because, guys, it is out of a thought that mental health issues like anxiety grow. It is out of a thought that mental health issues like depression grow. And if you are out there and you're listening to this podcast and you're struggling with anxiety or you're struggling with depression, one of the things that we're committed to doing here in XY Spark is to give you some insights, some tools, some ideas as it relates to how you can better manage these thoughts. So we are seeking to do life coaching here in the moment. So if you have a question, if you have a thought to share, if you have a comment, please feel free to type it in the chat. I want to encourage you guys to share this live, invite your friends to come on board. Those on TikTok, invite your friends to come on board, and let's have a conversation about the power of thought. So, the first thing that we want to establish here is that we need to understand that a thought is just a thought. That's all it is, guys. A thought is just a thought. And sometimes what gives us issues is that we treat the thought as if it is reality. And we want to learn how to create now a better mindset so that we can better control the thought, and remembering that the first thing that we have to be conscious of if we're going to control our thoughts is that a thought is just a thought. It's not reality. A thought is just a thought. It's not happening to you right now. So you struggle with anxiety, you struggle with depression. There's some persons who struggle with post-traumatic stress. So they're triggered because of a sound, because of a smell. And that's a next level of thought that sometimes takes us into deeper depths of anxiety, and of course, as we said, depression. Okay, so guys, when we have a thought, what are some of the things that we can do in order to control our actions or reactions to a thought? Some of the things that we need to do, number one is, after we establish that a thought is just a thought, we need to ask yourself, why is this thought so meaningful to me? Why am I triggered because of this thought? Right? So we want to get to the root cause as it relates to why the thought is triggering us. Okay. Shout out to you, Root Smooth. I see you. Shout out to you, Mateo, Neil, Strong and Free. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for joining us live here on our TikTok live feed. So why is this thought triggering you? What is it connected to? Is it connected to an experience that you've had in the past? Is it connected to a traumatic event that happened to you? Why is this thought triggering you? And what can you do in order to regain control over your reaction to this thought? Because, guys, learning how to control the way we react to a thought is going to help us to have a lot less knots in our stomach. It's going to help us to feel a lot less anxious. It's going to help us to eliminate some of the panic attacks that we're having. You see, we have to understand this, guys, that if we are not facing and confronting the fear of that thought in the moment, or each time it comes up, if we're not confronting it, that thought is going to continue to have control over us. That thought is going to become the dictator that we live our lives by. So we have got to zone in on, realistically, it's just a thought. So you want to sort of challenge it in the moment, question it, ask yourself practical questions, ask yourself reasonable questions, be true to yourself. Allow yourself, guys, to engage in the process of challenging the thought. If you're not challenging the thought is going to continue to have the upper hand. So remember, a thought is just a thought. Ask yourself, what is there about this thought that is a trigger? Why is this thought having so much control over my life? Is it because when I have the thought, it makes me feel lesser than? Is it because when I have the thought, it connects me to a fear that I have about something that happened in the past, or a fear that I'm having about something that is going to happen in the future? No, here's the funny thing about that, guys, is that when we're having thought or we're hesitating about something that we think is going to happen in the future, notice what I just said. It is just something that we think is going to happen. It has not happened yet. Is that touching home? I think it's going to happen, but it's not happened yet. So, what is missing from all of that? What's missing is there is no evidence, there's no proof, there's nothing to support this thought. So, what's basically happening to us, guys, is that we are creating this scenario oftentimes out of our own fear of something that we think is going to happen in the future. And for this reason, guys, that one thought now, it becomes the ship that we're sailing on. And the problem with it is that it's all futuristic. It has not happened yet. So we have to step back and acknowledge that this is not realistic. This thought is only a thought. So can you just say that? A thought is only a thought. Hey, Sniper, I see you out there, buddy. Hey, I see you, Sands. Good to have you, Strong and Free 55. Shout out to you on TikTok. So, establishing that, guys, is critical. All right. Recognizing that because this is all a futuristic event, I have no need to panic. I have no need to fear. Right. So, oftentimes, panic attacks start from just you having a thought. Now, here's what's tricky. A lot of us as men, we're not willing to admit that we're anxious. A lot of us as men, we're not willing to admit that we have panic because here's what's here's what's truthful. It makes us look weak. Isn't that the idea? Isn't that the psychology? Yes, guys. I'm speaking specifically to my male listeners now. In For us to admit that we're struggling with some anxiety or we are feeling depressed, it makes us look weak. That's what society has chiseled into our psyche. But I want to say to you guys that acknowledging that you're struggling with thoughts that are making you anxious is a powerful first step towards recovery from that. So when you're having thoughts or you're having a thought, that thought becomes more powerful when you refuse to confront it, when you refuse to acknowledge it, and when you refuse to take step towards recovering from this thought. Sometimes, guys, a thought can make us, we can stay stuck in a thought for several years. And staying stuck in a thought oftentimes is what leads to things like chronic depression. So oftentimes as men, we are severely depressed. Why? Because of a thought. Remember, guys, that we form our world with our words. So oftentimes when we create these scenarios out of a thought, it also adds to us procrastinating a lot. Are you a procrastinator? Is it happening because of a thought that you have formulated? Is it happening because of a thought that you have latched on to for some reason or the next without proof that the thought is actually valid? So the next thing that you need to do as it is a powerful thought is seek to check to see if the thought is a valid thought. Is the thought something that is going to add or bring you value? All right. Is the thought going to add or bring you value? Hey, I see you, and Thorpe. I see you. Thanks for joining us live here on the TikTok. This is your boy Rolando here on XY Spark. We're talking about the power of a thought. It's Willpower Wednesday. So guys, as we continue to look deeper into it, we want to reiterate that It is out of a thought where a lot of things happen. So a thought can cause us to go on a roller coaster ride, to do crazy things sometimes, right? All because of a thought. So we want to seek to see how we can rewrite the script to change the internal dialogue in order to live our lives in a more fulfilling way. And this, guys, become the crucial piece in understanding the power of a thought. You see, a thought we can become the master of our thoughts, or our thoughts can become our masters. It's very, very important for us to continue this process of understanding the power of a thought. A thought can make you or break you, right? A thought can make a man or break a man. Mindset makes a man or breaks a man. And out of your thought is where you create or nurture a certain mindset, and that mindset becomes the platform upon which you live your life from day to day. But we have got to learn now, guys, how to confront and challenge the thought. So we challenge the thought in the moment. We question it. We ask, where is it coming from? We ask, why is it impacted my life the way it did? It is. We ask, hey, all right, what would a different scenario look like? We ask, do I have any proof to back up this thought? And we work through a lens of careful scrutiny of the thought. So, as you are listening here live to this podcast, what thought has kept you back from reaching your true potential? What thought has been impacting your life negatively? Where did it come from? Who sowed that seed in your psyche? Was this person someone who was close to you? Was this person someone that you was connected with? Was it someone that you saw as an important part of your life? Where did you capture this idea from? Was it something that you created in your own psychological laboratory as a way that that helps you somewhat to feel a little bit more safer about yourself? Now, let me reiterate what I mean here by this, because sometimes, guys, we create these scenarios and we feed at the well of our own self destructive thinking. And the more time we spend tarrying at those wells of our self destructive thinking, is the deeper we sink into certain mental health issues. Okay. And for many of us as men, we are so good at that. We bottle things up. We're good at that. We hide from the reality. We're good at that. We tell ourselves things that we really can't prove. And then we go off and we do some really, really, really stupid things to hurt ourselves and to hurt our relationships because of a thought. So you see, guys, thoughts are so powerful that we have got to learn now how to control our reactions and responses to those thoughts. So you see, guys, when you have a thought, my recommendation is the first thing that you need to do is to pause and reflect on, why am I having this thought? Is this thought going to get me to where I need to go? Is this thought a healthy or an unhealthy thought? Is this thought a rational or an irrational thought? Is this thought a negative thought or a positive thought? Is this thought going to help me to grow, or is it going to let me stay stuck? Is this thought going to bring meaning and value to my life? Or is this thought going to cause me to hurt and harm others in the community or myself? So you see, guys, we should not take thoughts for granted. Thoughts are powerful. Thoughts are good things to have, but thoughts can also be very destructive if we're not taking the time to reflect on the source of the thought. So, as we continue to engage in the rest of our day, today being a Wednesday, I want you to take some time today to do some deeper reflection on, hey, I have something really big that I need to go do. But let me think it through first. Because remember, guys, it is from thinking things through that we can make informed decisions and we don't live our lives in too much regrets at the end of the day, right? It is by thinking things through that we don't make impulsive decisions and end up in regrets at the end of the day. So thoughts are powerful, and we have got to be mindful about how, when we have certain thoughts, we have got to take some time to reflect and to seek to move in a direction that's going to help us to get to our desired goal. Guys, this is your boy, Rolando. Thank you for joining us here on xyspark, all our TikTok live. We appreciate you guys. It's good to see you again. Hey, I see you, G Dog. I see you, Strong and Free. I see you. Thank you guys for staying here. And as usual, we encourage you to, like, share, comment. If you got some useful nuggets from our life today, we, put a heart, put a star, tell your friends about it. We seek to be here every weekday, just talking about ways that we can practice better mental health. XY Spark platform is here, and we're saying we are passionate about normalizing the conversation about men paying attention to their mental health and making it a priority. All right. And so today, our topic, the power of a thought, and we're challenging you to take note of the reality that a thought is just a thought. And as you move into your day today, please do not forget that you have value, you have worth. Please don't forget that at the end of the day, your mental health is your responsibility. Because, as usual, we challenge you and encourage you to be mindful that personal development is not an event, it is a lifestyle. And as you seek to engage in this lifestyle, we at XY Spark are here to say that we believe that there is a spark in you. So keep working at it. Keep striving to be the best version of yourself. And as you do that, and as you commit to doing that every single day, we believe that you will become a force to reckon with. Listen, guys, thank you for being here with us here again on yet another one of our live podcasts. If this spoke to you, please put a comment, like, share, subscribe. Tell somebody about what's happening here on weekdays as we continue to promote holistic health masculinity. This is your boy, your men's life coach, Rolando, here on XY Spark. Thank you for joining us. And we will see you again next time. Walk good and be safe.